Are you feeling overwhelmed and not sure how best to spend your time? Well, fear not, but in this episode, we will solve this together for good and help you feel less stressed, more organized, and become much more productive. This is Lawrence, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, your one-stop shop for growing your home business and fueling your passion for high intensity training. Today, we welcome back Dave Bess, fitness business coach and creator of Project 27. Welcome back, Dave. Great to see you as always.
Brother, it's been too long, man. We can't go 2 months without doing a podcast. So we were chit for like 20 minutes before we hit record today.
I know, and that's my fault. I'm just rambling on, and it's not good for my health to have these big gaps between our conversations. So no, I completely agree. So super excited to talk to you today. I love this topic, time management. Helping our colleagues become more productive, more focused, get better results. This is a huge issue and problem in our space where I think people are just winging it, not really having any kind of structure, priorities, getting the most out of each of their days, and then, fighting fires, all the rest of it. So do you want to share your screen? We're getting into your presentation. I'm excited.
Let's rip this thing, man. This is one of those topics. If you would have told me or asked me 5 years ago, Dave, you're going to be on High Intensity Training Podcast with Big Lawrence talking about blocking your days, I would be like, that's insane. Like, no, like time blocking is like, that was the last thing in my mind. And I was a gym owner at that time. It wasn't until I really embraced entrepreneurship and I had kids, and I'm still a gym owner and I mentor. Like, I quickly realized, like, man, if I don't have a plan of attack for the day, for the week, for the month, I run around like a chicken with my head cut off. It's nothing gets done. Especially, we're going to talk about it today, the stuff that you should be doing. Like, that's the stuff I really want to hammer home on today's conversation. What I see, one of the biggest issues with most personal trainers, gym owners, it's the stuff that they know that they should be doing, they're not doing. The only reason you have to start with blocking it in your schedule. The stuff that I don't want to do, guess what? That's the first thing that has to get blocked into my schedule, because I know if it's not blocked into my schedule, Lawrence, then let's just say that maybe it's relationship deposits, maybe it's something uncomfortable, right? Like, I know, like, if it's not blocked in your schedule, are you doing it?
Yeah, no, it's not happening. And especially something as uncomfortable as that. And just to clarify, relationship deposits are reaching out to people to make offers and build relationships, right?
Exactly. It's the uncomfortable work. So let's dig it into it here. So this is something, guys, like, gosh, Lawrence, how many times have you went through like a different time blocking structure? Like, right? Like, is this something that you've struggled with for a year too? It's like, well, Craig Ballantyne says that you have to eat the frog every morning. So I'm going to start doing this. Like, how many times have you bounced around for different time blocking tactics and strategies and frameworks?
I wouldn't say like time blocking, and not so much time blocking, but more just time management systems, right? You start, I think one of my early ones was Getting Things Done, David Allen. And with that particular system, you realize, oh, hang on, this is completely ridiculous, because you're just trying to tick things off the list, but you're not having an impact, and you're just almost trying to do volume, right? And obviously, don't get me wrong, the idea of an in tray, whenever you have a thought or an idea, opportunity, problem, whatever, writing it down and putting it on a list to process at some point that day, instead of deviating, like really valuable ideas. So like Getting Things Done was like instrumental and obviously influenced lots of stuff after that. But to answer your question, like I have jumped around a lot, and probably what's been the best for me is a combination of Cal Newport's time blocking approach with like EOS, but that's just what's worked for me so far. Yeah.
I've bounced around more times than like, it wasn't until the framework that I'm getting ready to go over today, which I've really just probably the last 120 days. And I'm like, this is it moving forward. Like, it's one of those, like, guys, you might not get this right the first time. And there's going to be different seasons in your life too, right? Like, there's going to be certain seasons where my time management, my day, my weeks looks completely different. So just know, guys, like as you transition into certain seasons of your life in your business, guess what? Your time management, what your day, what your week, what your month looks like, it's perfectly fine if that shifts. Here's what my gosh, Lawrence, I've worked with fit pros, personal trainers the last 5 years. And here's the one thing I can say for the struggling one. So if that's struggling specifically around acquisition, okay. So for the ones that I'm having that conversation with, and they're like, I'm like, hey, what's going on, Lawrence? Dave, I want more clients. I want more clients. Okay. What I see as the number one bottleneck is they're doing things where they're busy, but they're not ultimately productive. So there's a big difference in those two words. Like busy work is like, I did some busy work on, when was that? Friday. I went down this rabbit hole of this new paid ad guy. He kind of looked like Hermosi with long hair. And then I was like, oh, maybe I need to get into some paid ads. So I went through like his 15-minute webinar. And I'm like, whoa, what am I doing here? Like, that's a perfect example of busy work. Now, that was fun work, right? But was I driving the envelope forward? Absolutely not. So this is something, I don't know, Lawrence, if this is something that you see working with a bunch of fitness professionals, personal trainers, is a lot of the times it's like, well, yeah, I'm working, I'm busy, but they're really missing the boat when it comes to that productive work that drives the first down forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. And I know you're going to get into all this, but there's probably a lot of context shifting, right? Personal training sessions dotted throughout the day, split shifts on occasion, which is exhausting. We know that. So it means you have to be even more careful about how you spend your time, because you can just drain your energy. And yeah, there's a lot of firefighting and obviously a lot of this comes from a lack of systems, a lack of how do we deal with these types of situations that arise all the time. So there's a lot of kind of like winging it, firefighting, a huge amount of admin. I mean, I know there's a couple people that come to mind who are spending a lot of time on like workout programming. And what we've been doing with those people is like just simplifying everything right down, just making it as efficient as possible, having templates. Right, trying to because this stuff's important. It's like, I think you call it like the grind work, or the grind day, which I know you're going to get into. But it's like we need to be more efficient with these things. And yeah, it's just true. Anyway, you're going to get into it. You're going to go through the solution for all this. But yeah, what you're saying completely resonates. Yeah,
love it. Structure is the key here, guys. Like the structure, it's without the structure, and I'm going to say this over and over today, the important work is going to get pushed off. We'll get into some of my time block. Like the things that I enjoy doing, they're really easy to pop into my schedule. Like my workouts. I have a workout buddy, Keith. We work out 2 days a week. That's not something I'm ever going to stress about blocking into my schedule, right? Like I'm a big fan of writing long form written copy, especially since I built up my AI branding partner. That's something that I really enjoy doing. I'm in a season right now with my wife to where the kids are just staying up way too darn late. So I like time blocking from 9 to 10. Carrie and I, we're going to sit down and watch a trashy Netflix, show or a documentary. Like, that's the stuff that I enjoy putting in there. But when it comes to, okay, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do something that I'm not super comfortable with today. I'm going to create a value video for a potential client that walks them through my process. Man, if that structure isn't there, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that the next day. And this is something I think is so vital for most fitness professionals out there, just because you nailed it, Lawrence. They're working potentially split shifts. They're doing program design. Maybe they have a nutrition program. Maybe they're rolling out a new offering. Then they have to do content. Then they want to do a podcast. So they have all of these, fires to put out on a day-to-day. They have all these boxes to check off, right? Once you have that time management locked in, it eliminates that decision fatigue. And I know there's some studies out there, like switching tasks from this work to this work, like it takes 15, 20, 30 minutes to go from this brain to this brain. So going from okay, I'm going to do 4 hours of personal training this morning into now I'm going to create content. Holy crap, guys, like you're losing about an hour just transitioning from trainer mode into, okay, I'm really thinking about now what type of content could inspire someone to change. So having those blocks in play, and yes, it's an investment. It's every single Sunday of my life, I'm blocking my next week. It eliminates so much decision fatigue. I get so much time back from blocking my time on Sundays. And I'm sure you've heard this. I think every person listening to it, it's so vital, guys, that we work on the business. We can't just work in the business 24/7. If we work in the business 24/7, guess what's going to happen? It's not going to grow, right? It's going to be like, I'm so big on freedom right? And unless we're working on that business, we're always going to be, I like to say, a lot of the gym owners I know, it feels like they're stuck in a prison sentence, right? They're stuck in those
Yeah.
four walls. They're like, how the heck can I get out of it? If you don't work on your business, you're always going to feel stuck. Any other thing that you want to add, Lawrence, in regards to like why this matters so darn much?
Yeah. There's a few things I wanted to say. It's almost like, well, we know that our colleagues, the type of business we're talking to, a key activity that she was spending a lot of time on
Mm-hmm.
almost every day is advertising, some kind of advertising. And
Yeah.
it's not, it's really not complicated. And I think Hormozy's done a great job simplifying it for everyone by saying, hey guys, there's only 4 ways you can get clients. Reach out to people reach out to people you don't know, free content or paid. Like that's it. Everything comes under one of those. And there's just no shortcuts, and you have to just do the work. You've been saying this in your content. You got to just face the work and do it consistently. Choose one of those things. And the cool thing is in our business and the types of business we're trying to build, the revenues we're talking about, you just have to do one consistently really well all the time. And then the other thing I will say as well is I've got some nice rain hitting my roof right now, by the way, so probably some ambient noise coming in potentially. But we've got this great advantage in high intensity training where we deliver this workout experience that is unparalleled. And as a result of that, we tend to have good retention and we can get referrals from that. But what I notice is that most of us can't really rely on referrals alone, at least in the very beginning. And so it really is important to do what you're saying here and have the discipline to block that time to do advertising.
Yes.
And then obviously continue to sharpen the saw and keep getting better at the workout, as you're obviously going to get referrals there as well. But it just doesn't happen very quickly in the beginning. I think, we have to be be consistent with the advertising effort. Yeah.
I love it. You brought up something huge though, Lawrence, too. It's one of those in regards to like advertising acquisition. You don't have to focus on everything. Like I got into this sport and I'm like, okay, I have to learn paid ads. I have to learn organic. I have to have this amazing referral. Like I think across the board, specifically with, high intensity training specialists, like referrals should be like, that should be a primary pipeline, period. But it's not like you have to do all of these, guys. Like pick one that you enjoy doing and go all in. My Mesa gym, my GM, my business partner, he loves B2B outreach. He loves it, right? So he's never going to be on social media. Like at this point, he's a world-class chef. But he's like, Dave, I love so much going out in the community and connecting with people. That's his primary time block. So every single day, or let's just say 3 times a week, he has time blocked in his schedule to do B2B outreach and build connections. So I think this is so vital, guys. It's what are you aligned with when it comes to advertising, right? For some people, I'm like, you need to be putting out organic content. And they're like, no, I'm not. I don't want to put out content. I don't want to tell my story. Then guess what? Don't do that. But you have to have something else outside of referrals. Otherwise, guys, it's just that roller coaster. It's, hey, this week, this month, I got 2 or 3 referrals. The next month I got 0. And Pete says this all the time. It's still a very small percentage of people that actually refer. And those refer, like you have to have that in place, but it's not like you're going to have, 70% of your clients giving you referrals month in and month out.
Yeah. Well, one more comment on this. And I will just say for those because obviously this isn't a topic for today. Today we're talking about time management. But if you want to access to a free, really simple system to help you with content and outreach, which are 2 channels that Dave and I talk quite a lot about, then you can get a free course from Dave. Just go to skool.com, skool.com/HIB. We'll put a little link on the screen. Go there and you'll get instant access to that course. And it's amazing. Thanks to Dave. But yeah, Dave, I mean, just to kind of like nail this point, I mean, we don't have to do much. And that advertising activity could literally be, as we talked about in that training, it can be content and outreach, and then getting referrals organically and proactively by asking the question more, right? During the free session with your existing clients, asking for referrals. I just think from that alone, most of us will be like, have all the schedules pretty full. But
I would agree with that.
Just to kind of like, I guess, make one comment on what you said, it's like, okay, let's say we hate doing organic content, fine. But I do think we need to be doing something like weekly, let's say, just to increase trust and conversion when people are researching us. So I do think we have to have some
100%.
kind of presence, right? Even if, like you say, we go all out on outreach, just one-on-one, messaging people, LinkedIn,
For sure.
Instagram, whatever, which, you could just go really hard on that one tactic, obviously, and get great results. So I want to make that clear, right? But anyway,
100%.
go to score.com/HIB to get that course, and we'll get back to time management now.
I love it. And here's the thing, guys, even with, my gosh, with all the AI, you hit the nail on the head, Lawrence. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that content is going to bring home, 10 out of 10 leads, but you nailed it, Lawrence. Just putting out any content, even if it's not A plus 10 out of 10 telling your story, which I'm probably the most passionate person in the world with that. Every fitness professional out there, every personal trainer, every gym owner with AI, you should be putting out content multiple times a day because it's a 60-second time investment. Now, for those fit pros that are like, I really want to tell my story, I want to connect, I want to impact people out there, I believe that's the number one strategy, full stop. But you nailed that, Lawrence. Like every fit pro listening right now, use AI, give some simple tips, hacks, recipes, talk about the science of high intensity training. Just because now we're in such a trust recession, all of your potential clients are going to go check you out on social media at some point. And if it's just phones and nothing, then you're missing the boat.
And one last point on this, because I know we don't want to spend too much time here, but just so people have proof and confidence that this works, we have threads in our communities, hundreds and hundreds of comments from people who are like, got a new client today, got 2 clients today, just from doing reach outs, right? Just reaching out to people one-on-one, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, reaching out in Facebook groups, right? That kind of thing, reaching out to people they know. And obviously we teach like tactics to make it more comfortable because it can be kind of scary, to make it feel more natural. You help us with that, Dave, as well. So yeah, it works. I mean, we see win posts daily on this stuff, so it's awesome. Yeah.
I love it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this here. So this is the system I've ran versions of this probably the last 4 years. This first time block that I'm going to go over right now, it's the newest block. It's the newest time management technique that I've added in. I don't know if anyone teaches this like I do, but I call it, there's 4 time blocks. My first one is my alignment. So I call that my foundational block. Okay. I've worked with this mentor the last year, and he's like, Dave, if you're making decisions and you don't feel like you're in alignment, you're not going to make good decisions. Okay. So what I have learned, this is the first thing, believe it or not, Lawrence, that we're going to get into another really important time blocks. My alignment block are the first things that I block into my schedule weekly. It's 100% non-negotiable. Now, what do those, like, how do I become aligned? So for me, it's prayer, it's meditation, it's breath work, it's my personal training, it's my workouts that I do with myself and Keith, right? It's doing that 5-10 minutes of stretching between calls, like some type of recovery. And I also put in there my quality time with my family. It's Carrie, it's practice, it's Parker. When I'm in an alignment block, I don't think about business. It's hard. And sometimes I do think about business, but the point of that alignment is it puts myself at ease. And I can tell you this, guys, most of my amazing ideas, so I have every once in a while I hit that lightning bolt. I'm like, that's a really good idea. It actually comes from an alignment. Post alignment. When I go out and I'm a big disc golf guy right now. Lawrence, I don't know if you guys have disc golf, frisbee golf. Man, I'm shredding it up every single day, middle of the day. That's alignment. So I'm out there in the air. I'm throwing the frisbee around. 9 times out of 10, I come back and I'm like, that would make a really good content idea. Or, I forgot to do this value video to this lead, right? A lot of my amazing thoughts, my most creative moments, they come from my alignment. It's foundational. I can't tell you guys, for probably 2 years of my life, there was 0 alignment in my life. It was work block, cohort, content. I mean, guess what? For 2 years of my life, I didn't grow very much. Just me focusing on that alignment the last 90 days, I've had more growth in myself, in business in the last 90 days. And if you could connect it back to, Dave, what's the one reason? It would be because I'm always building in some type of alignment into my day every single day. It's 100% non-negotiable. It will change your life. As entrepreneurs, it's so easy to just kick off. Lawrence, how many busy gym owners do you know that they quit working out? right?
Yeah,
That that
I
happens all the
didn't, I didn't see them necessarily quitting working out. It's just not taking care of themselves, like
time.
diet and those other aspects of health, health hygiene, sleep, etc. Probably.
It's this, we all know we should be doing this stuff, but as
Right.
entrepreneurs, especially as, as gym owners and there's so much crap that we have to check off every single day. It's so easy to say, I'll get some meditation. I'll do some yoga. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it the next day. And then for me, I've seen it time and time again. It's so easy for any entrepreneur to just put the things that they should be doing for themselves to kick it to the curb. And if you do this for 2 or 3 months, it's going to be really hard to grow your business.
Yeah. Just on this, actually. So how does one find out what the foundation is for them? What kinds of
Yeah.
questions would you have them ask themselves, do you think?
Yeah, that's great. What puts you at ease, at peace? Like for me, for example, like prayer, reflection, meditation, 100% non-negotiable. And once again, if you would ask me this a year ago, like I'm on I'll be honest with you guys, like I'm on a journey right now, a spiritual journey, right? Man, it gets me a lot of, like, for someone listening, be like, absolutely not. I'm not there. I'm not meditating. Never meditate, then don't meditate. But it could be something like disc golf for me, right? I sort of noticed this trend of, after I had to put out a fire, I would go out and play it around a disc golf, and it would just clear my mind, and I would come back and I would be so productive that afternoon. So what are the things in your life after you do it? It dials down that temperature dial 2 or 3 notches. Cause that's all this is. It's bringing down that temperature to be like, okay, what's the work that I need to focus on next? And I can go into that with that clear mind. So for
I've
every
got
person, it can be a little bit different.
Right. I've got Charlie Munger fresh on the brain. I've been going down a Charlie Munger rabbit hole lately.
Yeah.
And I love his idea of always invert. If you're trying to figure something out, always invert it. So you could say, well, what are the things that if I didn't do them, I'd get really unhealthy, unhappy, tired, anxious?
Mhm.
And then it's sometimes easier to solve the problem. So you can say, oh, okay, well, I should probably exercise, I should probably relax, I should probably
Yes.
meditate, I should probably spend time with my family. I found that's working well for me, to ask the question and invert it in that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. Especially you know, the quality time with the family. Like everybody knows that they should be spending time with their family. Like everybody knows if you're married, but it's not just spending time, it's spending that present time with them where you're engaged. So that is the importance of blocking. Like, it sounds weird, but I have my family time. I have it blocked into my schedule, because then it's that reminder during that block of time, I'm all in. Okay. And then something like everyone knows, like, well, yeah, I know I should be doing this. Block it in your calendar. So therefore, when you go into it, with the amount of energy, and you're present and you're engaged. My relationship with my wife is so different in the last 3 months, because when I go into our date mornings, it's blocked off in my schedule. I'll show you my schedule later on. It's blocked off. Date with Carrie. And yeah, we'll talk about business, right? But I'm going into it with that mindset of, no, this is me. We're going to do a nice little brunch. We're going to eat these beignets. It's going to be a fantastic experience, right? So I know this kind of sounds, oh yeah, Dave, I know I should be doing this. Block it into the schedule, because then when you do it, just like when you go after your work, you'll go after that with that present energy where you get the most out of it. So that's alignment right there, Lawrence.
Yeah.
You have any other questions in regards to that time block at all?
No, I just wanted to. I think that actually a lot of my, I think a lot of people in my community actually probably are quite good at relaxing. And
Yeah.
I don't mean, that's not me saying they're lazy, but I do think there's definitely some aversion to want to do the challenging things like outreach we talked about. But I think quite a lot of them have like extracurricular stuff.
Yeah.
I could be like slightly inaccurate here, and I'm sure there's some. And I'm just thinking of the Thai Bays among us. And I'll give my own example. So like this weekend, I cannot go into a weekend. It makes me unhappy if I go into a weekend and I haven't got a plan. It doesn't have to be a plan
Mhm.
like time blocked. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
time blocked. I time block Monday through Friday, but not weekends. It's more like I have to sit there at breakfast and make a list. Okay, these are the things we're doing today. Okay, so we're the kids are watching a film from this time to this time. So I want to get everyone outside in the sunshine this time, so we're not stuck in a house all day. okay, this time I'm going to do a bit of work. So I do tend to work a little bit, only like an hour or two on a Saturday or Sunday. And then like this time we're all going to go here for dinner or something like that. Right. So
Yeah.
it's not time blocked. It's just like bullet points. And I've just found for me that really helps. And I can stick the phone in by the front door. I don't have it anywhere near me.
Yeah.
And I can just be present knowing that, okay, we've got sort of a plan. And, when it gets sort of, maybe there's some drama and the kids are being challenging, it's like, it just makes it slightly easier knowing that, okay, well, we're going to do this next or whatever. So for anyone who
100.
feels like me, and I think Dave maybe can relate to that, then, you're not alone. And that's how I personally cope with those types of things. The weekends obviously are a fun time of relaxing, but when you're a parent, it's slightly different. So that's how I cope. Yeah.
I love it. No, it's vital, I believe, to go into the weekend with just some bumper lanes. Because
Mhm.
otherwise, like you said, especially that's where the kids, like sometimes the weekends are the most stressful time in my life. So just having the bumper lanes that keep me just like, I know, for example, I do a morning workout on Saturdays with a guy. Actually, I don't think I told you this, Lawrence. I have a guy that travels 75 minutes to my house, and we do a Bible workout on Saturday. So we do like a Bible themed workout on Saturdays. It's the coolest thing ever. And then I do my study, then we do a brunch. So it's kind of like we'll get into theming your day. Like I go into that Saturday and it has a very specific theme to it, to where it's not where I'm getting up like it did 5 years ago, turned it on college football and just, wasted an entire, 18 hours of my life.
Yeah, that
Um,
sounds great.
it sounds, some days it does sound great.
Once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon.
Exactly. Uh, Time block number 2, deep work. This is where this was one of my first mentors. He said this. He's like, when you're doing deep work, it takes you 30 minutes to just get primed and ready in a headspace to do deep work. Okay. And then let's just say that you have a meeting or something. You start thinking about that meeting 30 minutes before your deep work time block ends. So you lose, look at it this way, guys, you lose about an hour of deep work just putting it in the front end and the back end. Now, what that deep work is, this is the work where you're using your brain, you're creating. For me, all of my content creation, it comes inside of this deep work zone. Okay. You cannot do a deep work zone in the middle of a day when you have a bunch of training hours, 4 training hours in the morning, 4 hours of training on the afternoon. You're not going to be productive with your deep work. Now, different seasons of everyone's life who's listening. Like right now, I'm in a season where I'm rolling out a brand new offer. I like deep work. It's my favorite time block. But once again, it's real easy for me to put the deep work time blocks on the schedule just to put them on there. So for me, it's Wednesday. My Wednesdays are my deep work days. So I wake up, I get in alignment, and I have anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of deep work. So that's my theme for the day. My focus areas right now, long form content creation. I'm writing a book. Lawrence, I'll have to update you on that. So I'm about
Cool.
20 chapters in to my book. This is something that's uncomfortable and this is brand new to me. I'm starting my YouTube launches in 48 hours. So I'm doing a minimum of 1 YouTube. And right now it's not interview style. So it's just me on a like Joel Osteen preaching for 15 to 20 minutes. That's my deep work, the zones right now.
Oh, nice.
This is the work that will build my future. Like I know that. I know me being very consistent, sharing my story on social media, eventually getting that book out there and putting out 1 YouTube every single week for a long enough time horizon, my future is going to be built. And probably a lot shorter. Like we're talking probably 12 months, 12 to 18 months. So that deep work, guys, and I know what you're saying, like, but yeah, Dave, like I don't need much deep work. I promise you, every single Fit Pro out there, you would benefit so much by just having a 4-hour block, 2 to 4-hour block once a week. Maybe you have to do it on a Saturday or Sunday to use your brain, get creative, especially when it comes to your content. That's deep work, guys. For me, it's one of those. It's one of my blocks. It's a non-negotiable depending on the season of life I'm in. Sometimes that's more deep work. Sometimes it's less deep work. Lawrence, do you have any questions around the block of deep work?
Yeah, just a couple. So obviously Cal Newport, famous for coining deep work, kind of differentiates deep work from shallow work, right? So shallow work could be like, doing emails or could be even selling, right? Doing outreach in his view is it's not deep work because it's not necessarily
No.
like high, it doesn't have a high cognitive demand. But I'm just again I'm thinking of the listeners and thinking, sure, they should definitely have a deep work block in the week for content creation. But I actually
Yeah.
think majority of those blocks that aren't training clients are probably going to be some kind of outreach, right?
Woo!
So I think there could be more shallow blocks, or there needs to be a balance between shallow blocks and deep work blocks. I
Yes.
do agree with you, like email is extremely important. And yeah, if we can get obviously client emails, prospect emails, and have a system for sending them an email, maybe 2, maybe 3 times a week. I know some
Yeah,
people
it's
feel
huge.
like, I mean, 3 times a week actually is way I understand it right now seems to be like the sweet spot. I know a lot of people hear that and they're like, that's too much. You know, people will get annoyed. I don't think that's true. I don't think they're even seeing it half the time. At least it's my experience.
Yeah.
And not to digress too much, but yeah, some of that content creation could be emails. I don't know if you cover in this presentation, but batching,
Yeah.
which is maybe one for another time, is a
Yeah.
really key skill, you know, which I know you've been doing where you're spending, you know, multiple hours like trying to produce lots of content that you can then
100%.
publish over the weeks, right? So you're just more efficient. But yeah, so that's just some nuance to that slide. I don't know if you agree with that or yeah.
You jumped ahead a little bit. Like we're going to get
Okay.
into the fourth category, the needle moving work,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like deep
Oh
work
yeah.
is just, you're in that point of like, you're using your zone of genius. Like I always ask myself a question in deep work. It's like, what can I create that it can inspire the world to be better? That's the purpose.
Yeah.
Anything deep work, it's like, what can I create today? And maybe it is that email, right? Maybe it is that long form Facebook post. Maybe it's an Instagram reel script that I'm
Or
creating.
maybe it's like a system, like a process or an SOP. I get what you're saying now. So it's like, what is that time of the week where you have the most energy? What day is
Yes.
it where you can do the most difficult thing? I feel like that's the filter.
100%. That's
Yeah.
it. Like, for example, this is like, we're getting to the weeds now. I don't work out on deep work days. It takes synergy, especially if I'm doing like a freaking leg press set, you know, that's going to suck your soul out of you. Like, so my deep work days is on Wednesday. Keith knows we can't work out on Wednesdays. My YouTube takes a lot of freaking energy. This podcast right here, right? Like I want to give everything I have into everything that I create. So it's really important, guys, on those deep work days, you'd want to do that when you have less what we're getting to next when it comes to fulfillment. So for some of you guys, maybe that's a 4-hour block that you do or 2-hour block that you do on Sundays. But I promise you, the stuff that you create when you go into creation mode from that place of just peace, alignment, where you're not thinking about, you know, putting out 1,000 different fires, the stuff that you'll create will 10x. So Lawrence, watch, when you create emails in that zone, guarantee you more people are going to open it up. Guarantee more of them are going to scroll to the bottom and take you up on your offer. It's vital, guys. You're not going to be able to create things from your heart and your soul if you're doing it in between coaching sessions. It's just, it's not possible. No one can do that. Hormozi, when he wrote his book, what did he do? Is for 6 hours of the day for 3 consecutive years. That's the definition of deep work, right? And that's why every book that he releases is going to be a bestseller. Why? It's because he was solely focused on, you know, 20 to 30 hours every single week in that deep work zone. So Hormozi's books are a prime example of what happens. Keep in mind, everyone's going to be in different seasons. So you don't have to do 20 hours of deep work right now. Just start by doing the minimum.
Yeah. Again, all of this you're saying has to be tailored to the individual, doesn't it? Because I have enormous, as you do, empathy for those who have, you know, who are in a season of young children. Maybe they've got multiple businesses. That's another topic, but probably shouldn't have multiple businesses anyway. And I am saying that because I learned that myself, and it's way better just to have the one complete focus. But yeah, it's taking everything we're saying, and this goes for like the marketing, the time management, just tailoring it to your what can you do given your values and your time constraints. Because I never want to sit here and say you should be working 16 hours a day.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's something, it will fall into one of these 4 blocks, in my opinion. After doing this for 3 to 4 years, it's going to fall. Like this next block that we're talking about right now, this is just doing the work. This is you're counting reps, right? You're doing your admin, right? You're loading the email sequence into Active Campaign, right? I would even say creating the workouts for people. That's not really, you're not going to have to use much deep work there, right? I know for me personally, I was in this zone for 2 years of my life, right? Hence why I didn't really do much outside of fulfill one-on-one sessions with gym owners for I guess, the 2 full years of my life, right? So there's going to be certain seasons of your life, guys. Maybe you're opening a brand new gym. This is probably going to be the meat and potatoes, like your number one priority. But once again, guys, this is not outside of giving a great workout to get more referrals. You're not going to grow your business if the only thing that you're focusing on is servicing, doing the admin, doing payroll, doing the admin, the things that like you have to do. It needs its own separate block. And mine is red in my calendar. So my goal with my calendar is to have as less red as possible. The least amount of red that I have, the more energy that I can spend on staying in alignment and focusing on things that's going to drive my business forward.
So you have the grind zone is red in your...
It's red. It's red.
It's funny you say that though, because fulfilling, like, it's like customer success stuff, right?
Mhm.
It's like, I do you not feel like having it red or trying to minimize it is like kind of, it has a negative connotation to what is probably like the most important part of the business one of the most important parts. Yeah. Like, fulfilling customers' needs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I challenge you a little bit there, Dave.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. But here's what I know. And I guess it's just for being stuck in it for 3 years and not having that growth that I wanted.
Mhm.
I know in order to impact the world that the way that I want to impact it, right? I have to really prioritize putting out the stuff to the atmosphere that brings me my perfect ideal dream client. So
Right.
I
It's
love
different
it.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
like this could be in some of these blocks, guys, they could be maybe in multiple categories. Like Lawrence, I could have put this in red today, right? But I actually will get to my next time block in a second. Like it's not this every single time it has to be a red block or an alignment block. Like sometimes there will be kind of a combination. I guess my point is I spent so much time in the red for 3 years that I realized it's not, I can't build the business I want if that's the only thing that I'm
And this is
focusing
the thing, this grind zone, everyone's calendar, whether they know it or not, is swimming in red. It's a sea of blood.
Yes.
A little bit inappropriate, but it's like this is actually the default I see. It's like if people don't have intentionality and structure to their week, this is the default, what you're looking at here. And obviously, it's just the most important work, coaching clients, training clients in the context of obviously the high intensity personal training business. It is delivering world-class workout experiences. It is the most important thing.
Mhm.
But obviously, when done in isolation, it does not provide time for the rest of the things that we're talking about today. The deep work, the needle moving, some of the needle moving stuff, the personal alignment stuff, right? So it's like, I think that the default is what you're showing us there. It's like, that is what, it's not even on the calendar, but that's what's happening just by default. It's just it's just the habits that people have. They're just doing that stuff, fighting fires, etc. Yeah.
You nailed it. It's default. Like that stuff is going to happen. It has to happen. Like anything when it comes to fulfillment and coaching, it has to happen. But the question is it going to drive your business forward? Okay.
Mhm.
This block right here, this is the one block. It has to be in your schedule. And really the best way to sum up what a needle moving block is, it is the work that you don't want to do. It's the work that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing. Okay. It's the uncomfortable work. It's the work that gets you a little bit nervous doing it. For me, for example, it's like, I enjoy a good old fashioned relationship deposit, like sending an audio note to there was a badass gym owner. I'd been following her content for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just world class. I forgot her name. I should probably give her a shout out, but I'd watched it enough. I'm like, I need to send her an audio note. So it was a completely cold audio note. Like she had not even engaged in my content, but her content was so good, I had to give her an audio note. Okay. That's the work I didn't want to do, but it was time blocked in my day. I had it in my schedule. Hey, I'm going to outreach to her. And I sent her like a 45-second audio note. Like, hey, I really appreciate the content that you're putting out right there. Like sharing your story. I love how your clients or your trainers are sharing their story. It's like, gosh, dog, I wish there was more gym owners, trainers out there that were doing that. She sent me this really nice audio note back. Hey, thank you so much. Da, 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 da. Did she sign up right there on the spot? No. Right. But man, does that drive that relationship forward? Maybe it's 3, 6, 9 months down the road. So for me, I don't look forward to relationship deposits. I don't look forward to saying, hey, Lawrence, I know we touched base last week and I want you to do my Movement Builders School of Impact program. Are you in? Are you out? I don't like doing that, but guess what? That is what drives the envelope forward. Okay. And for fitness professionals, Create content that attracts your dream clients, right? Outreach, networking, follow-up, business building tasks, not just fulfillment. So for Brandon, his big needle moving work right now, and he somewhat enjoys it. It's making sure 2 or 3 times a week, he's reaching out, he's going into a business, he's bringing them coffee, he's
Right.
connecting with them, right? Like that's not super enjoyable work. Now he's aligned with that. But if you were to ask him, hey, Brandon, do you look forward to going in and delivering coffee? Some days, maybe not. It has to be on the schedule. So that needle moving work, guys, this is the work that will drive your business forward. If it's not on there, you're probably going to remain stuck.
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate, what's the Bruce Lee? Is it a Bruce Lee saying, don't fear the man that throws 1,000 kicks, fear the man who's practiced one
Yes.
kick 1,000 times? You don't need to do all these tactics. I love that you've put outreach, networking, follow-ups, because like outreach and networking are probably like two of the most effective things you can do. And I know, again, Hormozy's, I think he's just such a service to all businesses in how he's saying, if you're under $1 million a year, one product, one avatar, one channel, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
And like, I just think of everyone in our space, I'm like, you're all doing under $1 million. So stop doing 17 different marketing tactics.
Yep.
Just do one, do it consistently every day, and you'll get really good at it. And obviously I'm sort of cheating because we say outreach and content, which is 2, but so we're slightly cheating there. But like, again, you don't need to do a lot more than that. And I feel like we say this on every podcast, but I feel like, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. And it's one of those things that I'm just always going to keep saying, because I say it to people all the time.
Yeah.
Because I see the problem, and I'm talking to people all the time, and I just remind them, like, this is what you have to do. It's simple, not easy. Just got to do it consistently. Anyway, get off my soapbox.
No, it's, that for any high intensity training, here's what I know for a fact. If you build time into your schedule, not to relax, but to stay aligned, what are the things that give you that sense of peace, that sense of calmness? If that's built into your day, okay? If you spend time every single week creating content that's specifically for the type of person who you want to work with, okay? If you post that content, which can be uncomfortable for a lot of fit pros, like posting a really good piece of content that talks about their potential insecurities, right? Like that's hard. Sometimes that would be a needle moving work for me in my past. Like I enjoy telling my story now, but I know this if you're a personal trainer, if you're a gym owner, if you're putting out content from a place of alignment, and then you do the needle moving work and you outreach to people that are engaging in that content. Okay. And then you make sure that you have time blocked in to do your admin, to do your training, to do your fulfillment. You will have a full gym in a year. No questions, no ifs, ands, or buts. And you're going to be working with the people who you want to serve. So it really is, guys, it can be as simple as that.
Today's episode is sponsored by Imagine Strength, the game changer in safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training machines. When it comes to HIIT, Imagine Strength is your go-to for intelligently designed, efficient, and affordable equipment. Their team is passionate about HIIT, and it shows in every piece they craft. So why are Imagine Strength the right choice? Number 1, they tailor-make their equipment for HIIT studios. Number 2, they provide cost-effective solutions for your business. And number 3, they are committed to ongoing innovation and refinement. Ready to take your HIIT business to the next level? Visit imaginestrength.com to discuss your needs and find the perfect gear for your studio. Join the HIIT revolution of Imagine Strength and transform your workout experience today.
Anything else when it comes to the time blocks, man? Like those are the big 4.
Yeah, well, clearly I should have, it would have been better if I actually remembered your presentation when I reviewed it before our call today, because I was talking about that shallow work earlier and you were like, yeah, Lawrence, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, my friend. And we did, and you already covered everything, which you always do. It's basically, this is how our calls go, Dave. It's like, oh yeah, but Dave, I think this, or what about this? You're like, Lawrence, it's coming, just, So anyway, continue, please.
This is something new, guys. So this is something I started using this journal a few years ago called the Monk Manual. Okay, huge fan of. I don't know if you guys are journaling. I highly recommend that you guys journal. It's been It's been something that's definitely changed my life the last 4 years. But anyway, inside of this monk manual, he always encouraged everyone to have a theme for the day. And it's something I kind of put it on the back burner. This is something that I've really focused on the last 45, 60 days to where I go into that day with a theme for the day. Okay. So Saturday, for example, I don't work on Saturdays. Saturdays, it is faith and it is family. Okay. There is no work. I go into it. I wake up. I know, hey, I'm going to move and groove. Braxton and I are going to go biking. I'm going to do my Bible study with Josh Price, right? Carrie and I, we always do like a midday date and we sneak out to the grocery store. That has a theme to it, right? So I don't worry about work. Don't worry about creation. Like it has a theme for the day. Wednesdays in my life, it's a deep work day. So I wake up and I'm like, holy crap, I get to do a YouTube today. I get 4 hours to just sit down and, go on multiple walks and create. Hey, how much content can I create in the next 8 hours, right? Then there's gonna be some days, Mondays and Thursdays for me, they're fulfillment days. So there's a lot of red on my Monday and Thursdays. I only do one-on-one fulfillment calls. I only do my movement building school of academy themed cohort calls. I only do those on Mondays and Thursdays. They're blocked in. Friday is a day that I always do my date morning with Carrie. Okay. And I just do a big wrap up for the week. So Friday, there's a lot of planning into it. Okay. Did I check off all my boxes? Okay. I always do a one-on-one with my full-time editor, Alvin, to make sure that we have our plan of attack for the next week. And then Sunday is kind of that buffer day. Whatever needs to get done, it's done. So I go into every single day with a theme, and it kind of makes it very exciting. It keeps me in my bumper lanes. So that's something new. I don't know how many of you personal trainers out there could fully have a completely, different theme day for each day of the week. But I promise you, just having maybe one deeper work theme day is a really good way of just approaching that day from a completely different mindset. So that's something new, Lawrence, that I've added on. It's almost like every single day is its own adventure.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea. Again, it's about taking this and tailoring it to your own situation. Obviously a lot of people maybe they are busy doing all the sessions and, some decides obviously want to scale and work more on the business and hire trainers and then pass sessions over. It's going to be easier for those individuals to have a theme for each day, I think.
Yes.
Right. And that's if that works for people, that I think it's a great approach. My only issue with it, and I guess I want to retry it, but I think I tried it in the past, is if you miss one of those days, to think that it takes 7 days to get back to that core activity. So let's call, one of it, let's say sales, right? Or outreach. You're doing a lot of that on the one day as opposed to doing it a little bit each day. And you miss that, I would get real anxious. Oh no, I haven't done that thing. And then it can kind of fall apart a little bit. You start to break the rules. So have you got any thoughts on that in your experience?
All hell is going to break loose. Like
that's
like last week for me, for example, I had this perfectly planned week and I had to have some really hard conversations last week. Like some of the heaviest conversations I've had to have in my entire life happened on Thursday and Friday. I had to shut it down. Like I tried to get some alignment in, like I didn't create. I had a couple mentorship calls, but there's going to be certain weeks where, my gosh, guys, the tires are going to fall off the vehicle. And it's one of those, it's hard, Lawrence. It's hard to be like, oh my gosh, I missed 2 full days. Friday was going to be this day where I built up my entire content schedule for the month of March and it didn't freaking happen. It doesn't matter. That's why for me, having that Saturday off, it just, okay, I can breathe and I'm right back on track after a good work shift on Sunday. Now there's certain things in your life, in your season that should always be on there. For most fit pros, I would highly recommend, guys, you have a minimum of 30 minutes on your schedule, non-negotiable. It's a needle moving work where you're connecting with people, either former clients, current clients, or people that are engaging in your content to focus on acquisition. I think that's a non-negotiable. So like a deeper work, some weeks that all hell's going to break loose, right? Kid's going to get sick. And it's one of those, you just roll with the punches and you just kind of accept of, okay, like this week it didn't happen. But over the course of 52 weeks, I know even if I miss it 7 weeks, but if I have 45 deep work days, holy crap, am I moving the envelope forward? But
it's almost like you can do like the ABC rating. Like an A week is where like everything's firing, and like a C week is where shit hits the fan, a kid is sick, something comes up. and suddenly you can't do like 60% of what you plan to do. But like you said, a C week in our space really should be like, okay, you're keeping clients happy, you're delivering great workouts, and you're doing
Yes.
you're doing some kind of advertising. You're doing some kind of consistent advertising. And anything beyond that is like, a B or A week. So yeah, I think it's good that you said that. It's good that you said, look, as a minimum, you got to be doing that, right? Otherwise, like you said, you're going to be like, the business is just
Yeah.
going to be flat. Yeah.
100%. My latest mentor, he's an Ironman guy. I would never do an Ironman. I don't probably think anyone in this community would ever do an Ironman. But with that being said, he says something and it just blew my mind. He looks at everything from a content angle, like he's an Ironman athlete. And like, I took it to a step further. And this is one of my biggest takeaways from working with him. I look at business now as an Ironman. Just knowing that I am never going to be like, there's going to be a little seasons where I hit that gas pedal down and I'm in sprint mode. But I think taking that step back and just aligning your mission and your vision and your why and saying nothing's going to hold me back, nothing's going to stop me, and approaching just every single week like it's an Ironman athlete, you're going to be so much more inclined to stick through it, even on those weeks that it doesn't happen. So that's this new reframe that I'm really reframing everything through. It's like, no, I'm not a sprinter. I'm an Ironman. And if I do B plus work, if I do B plus work, if I do B work, if I do C plus work and I do that for the next 10 years of my life, I'm a multimillionaire. Like, I know that. And every single person listening, if you guys do exactly what we went today and you give it C plus for 52 weeks, just C plus, you're probably you're in a completely different spot. You're personally in a different spot. Your business is in a different spot. You're ready for whatever that next chapter of your life is.
Yeah, cool. Agreed. Awesome.
Okay, final challenge. There's crap that you should be doing and you guys aren't doing it. I know it. You know it. I'm guilty of this. Identify. What are the things that you know would drive your life, your business forward, and you're not doing? Identify it. That's the first thing that you put on your time block outside of your alignment, and you execute it.
Do you think we all know what that is? Like people say, oh, do we need to look to experts or mentors, or do we just instinctively know this? We know what we need to be doing. Like, we know what it is. Like, in terms of, right. Yeah, I should be networking, or should be doing outreach.
We know it.
Do some kind of like letting people know about my stuff, right? So
yeah, I think we all know it. Like, down deep, there's a voice inside of my head, right, that says, you probably shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing this instead, right? Like, even if you're a new personal trainer, like, right, if you're a brand new personal trainer, down deep that you should be connecting with people inside of your community, telling them what you're doing, inviting them in for a free session. Like, that, even if you're brand new, right? Yeah. And as time goes on, you'll understand it more and more. The one thing that will define your success, and this is something I learned from one of my mentors, Will Schiller, the amount of success that you make is directly tied to the amount of offers that you make. Something like, if I'm not where I need to be, I'm not telling enough people about what I do. I'm not saying, hey, I have this new offering. Do you want to try it out? So yeah, that's it. What's that little voice? What's that little voice in your head?
Little voice. Yeah.
Jot it down. Down. Put it in your schedule. Make it a non-negotiable, and do it multiple times a week, and repeat for 26 to 52 weeks, and get back to me and Lawrence and let me know how it changed your life.
Definitely. It just sounds so simple. And I was on a call recently, and I was telling a lot of the guys on the call to, like, a lot of them were kind of just starting or looking for more leads, and leads was the common problem. It's funny how this podcast has turned into like a time management and leads.
Yep.
But it's like, I said to the guys, what's worked very well for a few startups we're working with is just asking everyone to come in and help them out. Do me a favor, right? That's how framing up, like, do me a favor. You don't need to sign up. I just want to get some feedback.
100%.
People I know who have, 20 sessions a week within 30 days. Another guy I know, 11 plus clients in 20 something day. Like, it's, and I'm saying it, and I'm like, this is obvious, right? At least it's obvious to me, but yet people aren't doing it. And it's a lot of things, to be fair. It's fear, and you can only inoculate yourself against that fear by doing, I think. It's a lack of, like you say, it's a lack of organization, a lack of structure, because it's like you say, if you haven't got it time blocked to bringing it back, if you haven't got it time blocked to do that uncomfortable activity in the calendar, it ain't happening. Because if you put white space, you're not going to go, right, Dave. Let's go.
I'm gonna do some
Let's get
outreach.
Yeah, it's not happening. So yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. And I think I agree with this. This time management strategy is excellent. So again, guys, like go back through the presentation if you need to, and sit there with a notepad and figure out how you're going to map that against your own life and your own business.
Yeah.
And obviously you need to tailor it to your own. Take what works for you and tailor it to you. You got any other final thoughts, Dave?
If it's cool with you, Lawrence.
Yeah.
This thing on YouTube, like I'll show it like in action, guys, so you guys can get a vision. Now, keep in mind, guys, for some of you guys, this might be way too overwhelming. You'll be like, because my week, it is freaking blocked. Like every part of it is. Like I could not have done this a year or 2 years ago. So sometimes it might just start with like just time blocking your needle moving work and a couple of your alignment sessions. As you can see on Saturdays, I take off. Okay. So Saturdays, I don't do anything. It's blocked off. We are hanging out. We're doing brunch. I'm not doing anything besides hanging out with my family. Okay. For me, I know my needle moving work, it needs to be in the front half of the day.
Dave, that's a long facial you're doing on Tuesday there.
Fuck off, baby. That's some alignment stuff that we're putting in there too. Like I need to change colors on that, man.
I love it.
So I'm getting my 90. Like now I'm really calling me a princess live on a podcast, Lawrence.
This is why you have such amazing skin, Dave. Now I know your skin.
That's it. That's that monthly facial. Needle moving work, guys, for me, it always gets accomplished. Not always. The majority of the time it gets accomplished if I front load it in the front half of the day. And my gosh, when I do something that I know that I should be doing and I execute it, man, it builds so much momentum. So for me, any type of needle moving work, the majority of it, I front load it. Okay. As you guys can see on Mondays and Thursdays, we have some red. We had another. So I only allow my clients to book times with me if they want to talk on Mondays and Thursdays. Okay. So those are the days you're going to see a lot of red. Okay. I always have my midday alignment. So this is where I'm going to do some lunch. I'm going to do some meditation. I'm going to do some disc golf. Wednesdays are going to be my primary deep work day. My admin cash out. This is where I always clear out all communication, finish off all emails. I get back to everyone. That's built into the day. And right now I'm in a season of my life just because I'm basically building my new offer from scratch in a lot of ways. I have it blocked off I do an hour at the end of every single night before I get to hang out with my wife and we watch our trashy Netflix movie. I do some additional more content. I enjoy doing content, so it's a hobby. This is something that I built in my schedule starting last week. So that's kind of my bonus work.
Can I ask a personal question? Yeah. Do you ever get to like the Carrie block and she's like, yeah, no, I'm all right, Dave. I'm doing my own thing.
I'm a pretty good husband, or she wants to hang out
every day.
Well, it's like I said, it's trashy Netflix, and we do a 500. Like I do a 500 calorie treat, so it's one of those.
Lovely.
Again, if it's not on the schedule, then what happens? It doesn't happen, so I don't get that. And in a season of life with kids, like that relationship with your significant other, it can take a back seat unless you're making that time for it. So this is really good.
Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I was thinking, should we also just make sure that because obviously you and I have quite similar lives, really. Not similar lives, probably, but similar. Your calendar's quite similar to mine because we have a similar business setup. But I'm thinking a lot of our colleagues will be just, client session after client session.
Yep.
I guess one thing we haven't really talked about is ideally, and I think that a lot of people don't do this well, is we want to be batching client sessions. We want to be pushing clients to schedule in blocks. And I think 100%. Obviously a lot of people want to just please the client and just train them whenever the client wants, but that's going to come at a cost, especially if it's too scattered, right? So we have to be disciplined about, find those peak times that clients want to train and then schedule them there. And what you often find is this is just a little tip, if you rather than saying to the client, the client, when do you want to train, but say, actually present them with the times. You want to do this time or this time? And obviously prioritize the times you're looking to fill. More often than not, they're already bought in. They'll work around you, right? That's what I've experienced. So anyway, I wanted to say that because I think people can look at your calendar there. Yeah. It's fine. They're going to have blocks of sessions. They're going to have sessions scattered. So again, it's taking what we're saying, taking your example there, which is great, and just making the best of it and trying to find those 2-hour blocks where you can really focus on some high impact work. So Yeah.
100%. That's the first thing that I do with any gym owner or personal trainer that I work with. We take a look at their training hours, right?
Nice.
Because when in my early days, it was just, hey, when do you want to train? And then you look at your schedule, and look, you can't do any deeper. Like there's nothing that you can
Yeah.
do outside of fulfillment. So it's taking a look at it and condensing it down. I just had a great one-on-one last week with Mindy Go out of Michigan, and she was all over the place. I'm like, hey, what can we do to tighten this up? And so now she had to have a couple tough conversations. She's tightened it up, and now she's only going to work on Monday and Thursday evenings. So now she gets to spend more time with her kid on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And that's where we're going to implement that deep work. So she starts putting out content that attracts her dream clients. So like, guys, it's sometimes this might require a couple tough conversations, but just us framing ourselves as trainers and gym owners as professionals, right? Like I can't schedule a meeting with my doctor anytime that I want to, right?
Right.
My mentors that I work with, I don't get 24/7 access to them, but they're like, hey, Dave, I work on Thursdays. You can book a 30-minute call and we can touch base any Thursday. Like, and I respect that, right?
Yeah.
It makes it more special too. Like, hey, if I'm working with someone and they have unlimited availability, like in my head, I'm just like, oh, I wonder why they have unlimited
Yeah.
availability.
Why aren't you more busy?
Yeah, why aren't you more busy, right? Whereas like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, if I want to talk with Dave, I know that I have to book a time on Monday and Thursday. They never cancel. They never reschedule just because they know that like my time, like it means something. So
Yeah.
it's a great reframe that your clients will never, they're never gonna fight you on that. Or the right client. The client that's
Right.
like that's probably a client you don't want on your
Right.
roster anyway.
You know what you need to know. Yeah, it's I think what we talked about is so fundamental. Like what you said there about, when you work with clients, you're pulling up calendars. It's the same with me. It's like I'm talking to someone, I'm like, just send me your calendar. What's going on here? Show me your calendar. And I see the calendar, I'm like, oh, that's the problem.
That's it.
Like, oh my God, and it's everything's everywhere and nothing's getting done. Like you say, it's like this, they're just keeping the status quo because they can't do the movie needle work. They can't do the magic deep work because there's no energy and time for it. It's just, I really want people to take this seriously because I think that some people do see this stuff and they're like, oh, that's not for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can be really productive about it, frankly, especially if you have a very busy life. You need to be organized. You need to give as Cal Newport would say, give every minute a job during your work day so that you can have the most output on the things that are important. Because otherwise it's just, you and I might be way up the other end of that spectrum. And maybe there is a spectrum for this stuff. But I think we all get so much value by doing some of it, right? And implementing some of what we spoke about today. Yeah.
Any of it. Any
Yeah.
of it. Like I said, if I would have heard this presentation 5 years ago, I'd no, just take a step from this podcast. If you made it all the way through, guys, just take a step. Like take a look at your calendar and it's like, okay, like what am I going to theme my days? Where's one day that I can do a little bit more creative and outreach and block that in? And then over the course of time, it's like working out. You get better at it and better at it and better at it. And just know that you're going to be in different seasons of your life too. So it's it will change it'll change your business, it'll change your life. You'll get so much more accomplished in 90 days following this type of system than you will in, years.
You'll feel way better too. When you get to the end of your day, you just feel like, oh my God, I've achieved, not only have I achieved a lot, I've done the right stuff and I've done what I set out to do. And obviously, life happens, things come up, fires happen, you have to,
For sure.
but then, you pivot in the moment, you redo your plan for the day. This is really Cal Newportonian kind of like advice here.
Yeah.
It's like pivot in the moment, replan your day, and then get to the end of the day. I did the best I could do given the situation.
Yeah.
And I just think you feel way better about yourself. This is just a self-esteem thing.
Yes.
Versus, oh, I'm just going through my day, like trying to, responding to that email, deal with that difficult client, train this client. And you're like, oh, I haven't moved my business forward, Anyway, yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. It's been a really great reminder. I appreciate it. So let's see here. Obviously, I forgot to say, you did a great presentation today, which is available on YouTube. So people will be listening going, I don't understand what they're talking about in this presentation. Well, that's because it's on YouTube, right? So the content is always YouTube first, and then we publish it to the podcast. So please go to YouTube. You go to High Intensity Business on YouTube, and please subscribe and follow us there. Dave has done many presentations for us on YouTube as well, and you can check those out. And if you want to connect with Dave, it's Instagram is Coach Dave Bess. Is it all one word? Is that how it is? Yeah.
All one word, Coach Dave
Yeah.
Bess, DESS.
Awesome. And Dave, your content is awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I've been watching all of it. And so I highly recommend everyone goes and checks out your Instagram because I think they'll find it very useful. And I think you're spreading some really good wisdom there. So thank you for doing that.
Love it, brother. I appreciate it, man. Always appreciate hanging out with you. We have to get our next one on the docket sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And just one last thing before we wrap up. So again, guys, if you want to get that course that I mentioned about outreach and content with Dave, please go to school.com/HIB. They're short for high intensity business. This is Lawrence with highintensitybusiness.com, and we'll talk to you soon. This episode is brought to you by Imagine Strength, your go-to for safe, simple, and effective high-intensity training equipment. Growing a successful high-intensity training business requires workout equipment that's not only high quality, but also intelligently designed to fit the unique needs of your studio. And that's where Imagine Strength comes in. Drawing on the wisdom of the legendary Arthur Jones, Imagine Strength has crafted a groundbreaking line of fitness equipment that's as affordable as it is efficient, giving your studio the upgrade it needs without breaking the bank. The team at Imagine Strength breathes HIIT. Their passion for high-intensity training shines through in their designs, which they've consistently refined and innovated for optimum effectiveness and user experience. From my personal experience at Rec, I can attest to the careful consideration and craftsmanship that goes into every single piece. My Imagine Strength workout was absolutely brutal, in a good way, of course. Now, what makes Imagine Strength truly stand out? They have innovative equipment tailored for the unique needs of HIIT studios, affordable and efficient designs, lowering the barriers to entry for a HIIT business, continuous innovation and refinement ensuring your studio stays ahead of the curve. Founder Jeff Turner and his team are dedicated to moving the HIIT industry forward and making strength training accessible to more people than ever before. Here's how you get started. Number 1, visit imaginestrength.com. Number 2, discuss your specific needs with the team. And number 3, select the equipment that will propel your business to the next level. Head to imaginestrength.com today and give your HIIT business the Imagine Strength edge. Be part of the HIIT revolution and see firsthand how their unique equipment can transform your studio's workout experience. Elevate your HIIT business with Imagine Strength.
Let's go.